In Marika's own words, "O Radagon, dog of the golden law, you are not yet me, you are not yet a god, come, let us shatter together my half-body." I love the eloquence of the English localization, but the original Japanese is the be-all end-all. The alchemical rebus is established in the fandom's nexus, but I aim to present bilateral gynandromorphism as the point of departure for reckoning with Radagon's substance. Bilateral gynandromorphism is the bilateral symmetry of female and male dimorphism on either half of an organism's body, a living rebus. Such a being may have been born to the Numan race and captured the esteem of the greater will, which severed the female constituent from the male and took her as its vessel. Lore hunters insinuate Radagon to be a kernel in Marika's larger being, like the Jungian archetype of a woman's embedded masculinity, the animus, rather than having as much claim to that body as she. Marika upraises Radagon as half of their body, but the pronoun me and the determiner my in "you are not yet me." My half-body illuminates that in Marika's mind. Her godhood exalts her self-ownership, and it matters not that Radagon is equally half of the body to which they both once belonged, for she delimits Radagon as beginning and ending with herself. Radagon's sperm begs to differ. I apologize for my ribaldry, but Radagon's impregnation of Ranala and Marika corroborates his discrete identity. The definitional difference between females and males is anisogamy, the dichotomous size differential of ova and spermatozoa. Female and male can respectively be glossed as larger and smaller gametes, from which flow secondary sex characteristics that are dimorphic but not dichotomous. Bilateral gynandromorphs possess chromosomes respective to either sex, including ovotests, and the Y chromosome is responsible for spermatogenesis, while ovogenesis is passive, or the default. The Y chromosome was surely extant in the Numan that came before Marika and Radagon. Therefore, the male is equal to the female, and Radagon's production of sperm means he was not a piece of flesh or soul extracted from Marika, but a man fully endowed with ipseity. Empyreans to date have all been women, including Michela for his alter ego, Centrina. As a matter of course, an Empyrean's consort will be a mortal man, halving her holy blood in the forthcoming children. Rani proves demigods may be chosen as Empyreans, but Godric demonstrates that no matter the boundless grace of the progenitor, the last scion will be a graceless jumped-up human. Marika may have foreseen the foundering of her family tree, so she chose to turn it into a family wreath. The remembrance of millennia was botched in translation, for the Japanese description reads, "Michela and Millennia are the children of the one and only God." Therefore, although they are both gods, their lives are fragile. One is eternally infantile, the other is pregnant with corruption. Asexual reproduction is outlined as the cloning of an organism in the form of offspring. Members of exclusively asexual species are female, and the introduction of males was thought to incur a twofold cost, because mothers expend gestational output on progeny that cannot themselves self-fertilize, and females are dependent on males for impregnation rather than performing parthenogenesis. Biologists, in the most parsimonious sense, underscored males as useless. Hindsight ravels together the plain-sight revelation that asexual reproduction is maximal incest, and due to the mutational stacking of the forebearer's genomic makeup, coupled with the relentless oxidative damage done to DNA, clonal daughters are not optimal. Sexual reproduction and assortative mating ensure that deleterious mutations are purged via fathers. Deleterious mutations are undetectable in women due to our high gene repair, and mothers are, forgive the dovetail, vessels that gestate mutationally purified offspring. Therefore, Sons present with the somatic repercussions of bad genes and are the targets of sexual selection. The twin prodigies encapsulate the perils of self-pollination, as the elegant circumvention of mutational stacking does not work when your father is also your uncle, and so too is your mother your aunt. To condense my theory, Radagon was equal to Marika in regard to his holism, for not only did he sire at least 5 children, he sired 3 sons, which only the Y chromosome can achieve. Elden Ring's themes pertaining to alchemy and the rebus dissuade me from pointing to the more generic hermaphrodite as their original embodied state. Less than 10% of so-called hermaphrodites have the XY karyotype, with more than 90% being females with ovatestes that, given the absence of the SRY gene, only produce eggs. Bilateral gynandromorphism scans as most logical to me because gynandromorphs are a mosaic of fraternal twins, or the fusion of one female zygote and one male zygote in utero. Radagon having his own distinct genes explains his flowing red locks. But my final conclusion is that his Y chromosome, which bears a special uniqueness in sexually reproducing species, must have existed since his conception. Thank you for listening to the end. I give you all a big kiss. Goodbye.